Greetings, travelers, and welcome to the Retro Wildlands. My name is Nomad, and in this video I invite you all to join me around the campfire as I share with you my thoughts and experiences with Battle Axe. Battle Axe is a top-down hack-and-slash adventure that was originally released back in 2021. Developed by Hank Nyborg and Bitmap Bureau, then published by Numbskull Games, this retro-inspired hack-and-slash style adventure features non-stop scoring action that'll transport you back to the arcade days of yesteryear. Going alone or joining up with a friend in local co-op, it's up to you to take back the land from the evil sorceress Etheldred. Battle Axe is available on last-generation consoles as well as current-gen. I was fortunate enough to find a physical copy of Battle Axe for my Nintendo Switch, so this is the version that I'll be highlighting today. Battle Axe is a really fun arcade-style hack-and-slash experience that really leans into the pixel art visuals and really soothes your ear holes with its amazing soundtrack. Originally, it was kickstarted by veteran pixel artist Hank Nyborg, and it's pretty clear to see his love for artwork and gaming went into this entire experience. But is the gameplay experience enough to recommend giving this game a go? Or should you leave this Battle Axe hanging on the wall of the armory? Well, my friends, let's find out. Grab your preferred medieval weapon, steel your resolve, and prepare for battle. Let's head into the gaming wildlands and check out Battle Axe.
Battle Axe!
Battle Axe is a hack-and-slash game that has the style and feel of an old arcade classic. Players take control of one of three adventurers: a wizard, an elf, or a marauder. Their mission? Free their homeland from the tyrannical rule of Etheldred, an evil sorceress who desires nothing more than to extend her empire and tighten her grip on all that you hold dear. This game features some amazing pixelated graphics, fantastic sound design, a very catchy soundtrack, and a familiar yet sleek take on the hack-and-slash formula. Players will work their way through 4 stages of play on their quest to save the world, and if that's not enough, there's an infinite mode which allows you to hack and slash to your heart's content, only stopping when you're tired or when you're dead. While the game experience itself may get a bit repetitive sooner than later, and it comes with a difficulty very reminiscent of old school arcade games, Battle Axe has a decent amount to offer, even if the appeal to the game is more for a specific type of gamer. The story in Battle Axe is pretty basic. Your hometown of Mercia has been under the control of Etheldred, an evil sorceress whose thirst for power is never-ending. Every 7 years, she sends her army south in order to wrangle up people from cities and townships. These unfortunate souls are taken and subjected to a lifetime of slavery, where I assume they're used to help Etheldred build up her evil war machine. Regardless of what they're used for, anyone that is taken is never heard from again. The people of Mercia put out a call for champions and ask that someone finally take a stand. And lo and behold, that call is answered. Rooney the Marauder, Faye the Dark Elf, and Ilo the Druid step forward. Choosing one of these adventurers, it'll be up to us as players to guide them to the icy lands to the north and put an end to Etheldred while cutting through her dark armies and saving as many citizens of Mercia as we can. As soon as the game boots up, it'll be very hard to ignore its amazing visuals. The stunning pixel art on offer here is all thanks to Hank Nyborg. Our 3 protagonists look beautiful, and every bit of their movement and attacks flow very smoothly on screen. The creatures that you'll be dispatching look just as amazing as well. Skeletons look creepy and orcs look downright menacing. The bosses that you'll find at the end of each stage look even more awesome, and it's all thanks to Nyborg and his top-tier talent. Taking it a step further, the environments you'll be doing battle in are nothing short of breathtaking. In the first stage of the game, you're fighting high in the sky and the ground far below looks great in contrast to the ground that you're fighting on. The dark mines of the second stage look dangerous and treacherous, and the lighting is done perfectly. Overall, the bright colors used in Battle Axe make this game one of the most visually appealing games that I have ever played up to this point, and I do not say that lightly. Beyond the visuals, Battle Axe has some stellar sound design.
Faye has found a bomb!
Character voices sound clear and crisp, and the sound effects of steel hitting foe and creatures growling all sound very solid. The soundtrack in Battle Axe, which is composed by Maname Matsume, is one of my favorite features personally. Having originally worked on music and sound for old school games like Mega Man 2, Final Fight, Mighty No. 9, and Shovel Knight, Matsume nails the music here and it all fits exceptionally well in this pixelated world. But I think my absolute favorite part of Battle Axe's presentation is the announcer that you'll hear every now and then during gameplay or when you start a new stage.
Stage 1. Battle above the clouds!
His voice perfectly captures that old school arcade magic from back in the day and just continues to help pull the player into this arcade style experience. Given everything I just mentioned about the presentation, Battle Axe stands out against many video games, both old and new, when it comes to delivering a masterful visual and audio experience. The gameplay in Battle Axe is pretty solid throughout. In the game's standard arcade mode, you choose one of 3 heroes to battle the forces of evil. Rooney the Marauder is the strongest character physically and moves at about average speed. Ilo the Druid is physically weak and the slowest moving character, but his projectile fireballs are a force to be reckoned with. My favorite character to use though is Faye the Dark Elf. She's the quickest character, and while not the strongest overall, her twin daggers just feel oh so right as she's hacking up her foes. While each character has their subtle nuances that make them somewhat unique, they mostly play the same. You have a physical close-range attack, and you also have a long-range attack as well. Faye has the slowest ranged attack with her throwing knives, but more than makes up for that with her twin daggers. Ilo has the fastest ranged attack, but the slowest physical attack. But you can't deny how awesome it looks to watch him beat the crap out of his enemies with his epic beard. And as far as Rooney goes, I consider him middle of the road in both areas. On top of a close and long range attack, each character has a dash attack that allows them to cut a swath through a horde of the enemy with little effort. There is a cooldown in between each use, so just bear that in mind. Personally, I favored sticking with just regular melee attacks, and I would occasionally use a dash attack here and there, even with characters that didn't excel in these areas. While the ranged attack was certainly useful in its own right, you can only fire your projectiles in 8 directions: up, down, left, right, and diagonal. And if you happen to miss what you're shooting at, you'll need to reposition your character, and that can be a little cumbersome if all you need to do is make a small change. It is a small complaint in the grand scheme of things, though. So the goal of the game is to get to the end of each stage and defeat the boss that's waiting for you. While each stage is fairly vast in their own right, they are pretty linear. You will come across the occasional dead end, but getting to the end point of each stage is pretty easy to do. In fact, you could book it to the end of each stage and run past most enemies you come across if you really wanted to, but in doing so, you'll be missing out on Battle Axe's best part: collecting money and chasing a high score. Gaining points in Battle Axe is easy enough. You gain them by defeating enemies who will also sometimes drop treasure that can further add to your score. Treasure and loot are often hidden in chests around the stage that you're in, and you can also increase your score by rescuing townsfolk that are locked into place by the evil sorceress's dark magic. Want to really add to your score? The game has a built-in combo meter where it keeps track of how many hits on the enemy you inflict in a short amount of time. Get that number as high as you can before the red meter depletes, and you'll see a nice bonus added to your score. I enjoyed trying to keep my attacks going as long as possible, but I often found that enemies don't always continue to appear as my combo gets higher, so I never did get too big a combo myself. Once the game ends, either by you making it all the way to the end or you lose all of your lives, your high score will be posted on the leaderboard for all to see. Now, while chasing a high score can be fun for some, where I found my fun in Battle Axe was collecting money dropped by the enemy and then using said money to buy items. Most enemies you dispatch will drop a single gold coin. At the top right-hand side of the screen, you'll be able to see how much that you've accumulated. In between each stage, your character will be visited by a roaming merchant. Using your accumulated wealth, you can purchase items like food to replenish your health, items to use against your enemies, or items that will upgrade your character. While food and consumable items can be sometimes found in stages hidden in treasure chests, character upgrades can only be purchased from the merchant, and they are not cheap. They aren't needed to win the game, but they do make the game a heck of a lot easier. And in a game that has an old school arcade style toughness to it, you'll want every edge that you can get. Now, speaking of items, the game does not give the player any idea what an item you find does until you actually go to use it. While this can sort of be appealing from an old school mentality where you just need to figure things out on your own, I would have liked to know exactly what it is something did before I used it. You could argue items in the field aren't too hard to figure out though. Once you use the magic scroll, it's pretty easy to see that it damages all enemies on screen. Same goes for the bomb. You have to toss it just right, but ultimately it goes boom, just like you would expect. A turkey that you can find will heal your health a little bit, and a potion will fill all of it. But going back to those character upgrades, there's nothing that tells you what specifically they upgrade when you buy them, so you have to pay attention to what changes after you purchase them. Just to tell you now, the green potion will increase your overall health, the little winged S will increase your movement speed, the shield with the fist will increase your physical attack power, and the lightning bolt will make your ranged attacks stronger. These gripes aside though, making your way through stages, collecting coins, and spending it on your character upgrades make the gameplay feel fun overall, especially when you get to reap the rewards of a stronger character. Speaking of strength, you're going to need it for the bosses at the end of each stage. When you come up against a boss for the first time, it will be a formidable challenge while you're figuring things out and trying to see exactly what it is their attack pattern is. However, once you figure these things out and come into the fight well prepared, these bosses can be taken down pretty easily. Still, I thought their designs looked pretty good overall, and they added character to an already robust experience. Now, if you find that the game is a little too hard, there is an easy mode that you can toggle on in the game's options menu. This will tune down some of the enemy aggressiveness, allow you to automatically heal in between stages, and I noticed boss encounters were a bit easier as well. The very first boss in Stage 1 usually has enemy orcs hopping out of the floating ship at the player, but on easy mode, those orcs don't appear. Even if you decide to tackle this game on easy mode, be warned that Battle Axe is still a pretty decent challenge. You only have 3 lives and you do not have any continues, so when you run out of your lives, it's back to the beginning for you. While this can be frustrating for some, veterans of old school retro games will most likely feel right at home here. The main arcade mode took me about 27 minutes to complete from start to finish, but that was after I had put 4 hours into the game getting good at it at that point. My victory was well earned, believe me. If you do manage to beat the game, you'll gain access to a New Game Plus mode, which sounds awesome. But it's just the same game with some randomized enemy placement, more aggressive foes, and mixed up treasure chest placement. Where the game really tries to extend its runtime is with Infinite Mode. The goal in this game mode is to make it from one stage to the next and survive as long as possible. It can be pretty fun, all things considered. You need to find all of the captured townsfolk that are littered around the playfield, and once you do, a portal will open to the next stage. Enemies continuously spawn and they become increasingly harder as you progress. The merchant, though, can sometimes be found standing around a stage as well, so be sure you're collecting coins to buy items and upgrades if you want to go the distance. The only real incentive here, though, is chasing a high score and seeing how far you can get, which is fine, but I found that this mode, and even arcade mode, can start to get really repetitive really quick. I'm usually good for maybe 1 or 2 play sessions of either game mode before I feel like I need to step away from Battle Axe for a while. But at the end of the day, I cannot deny how fun this game is overall, and how much more fulfilling it is playing alongside a friend in some couch co-op play. While I would have loved some online functionality, it can still be fun to play with a pal just like in the old days. So when you wrap it all up, Battle Axe is a very enjoyable game. The visual presentation is top-notch and the fast-paced combat is easy to get lost in. It is very easy to lose yourself while you cut down waves of enemies, collect money, and watch your score climb higher and higher. The game becomes even more fun if you can get a friend to play along with you, and the Infinite Mode offers a spectacular challenge for players who love going the distance. However, the game's runtime is very short, all things considered. With only 4 stages to play, which may take about 30 minutes to complete, there is not a lot of meat on this bone, even with an Infinite Mode to play through. And while the gameplay is fantastic, it's only fantastic in short bursts, meaning that you'll find yourself burnt out after 1 or 2 play sessions. While all of that sounds pretty bad, I do appreciate what Battle Axe is trying to be here. It's an ode to old school arcade games that have an emphasis on style, gameplay, challenge, and high score chasing. I can't deny how fun it is to mow down clusters of enemies and seeing if this run will be the run that I go all the way. And if that type of experience is something that you can get behind, Battle Axe may just be the game for you. Thank you very much for watching my review of Battle Axe. What did you think of this game? If you have any thoughts or experiences of your own, feel free to leave them in the comments below. If there's any other games out there that you'd like for me to cover in a quick review, leave those in the comments below as well. I want to thank you again for spending some time with me, and I look forward to having you join us in the gaming wildlands again soon. Until then, my friends, my name is Nomad, and you can find me roaming the Retro Wildlands.